Hello there and welcome to this video, which is a seasonal energy update for the month of March. If you're new to me and my work, my name is Nicola. I'm primarily a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist, but I like to create content for those deep feelers, deep thinkers like me, who really enjoy leaning into the deeper things in life. And so I create lots of content relating to yoga, mindfulness, seasonal living and other personal development stuff. So let's talk about today's topic. I normally produce a seasonal self-care video, and if you're after practical self-care advice, then there'll be a link somewhere for you to find that video. I have one of those for the month of March. This video is going to be a little bit different, and I haven't done one like this before, but I wanted to really share and speak to some things that I find have really helped me in my own personal and spiritual growth. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the energies, the general energies at play in the month of March, generally speaking, through the lenses of the ancient wisdom traditions that I love and I gather lots of insights from and definitely still learning from myself, such as Ayurveda, the Chinese 5 element system, but also from like the Celtic Wheel of the Year and things like that, even astrology. So I'm going to kind of weave them together to make sense of the general energies at play in March, but also the specific times that we're in. I'm not an expert. I'm really just sharing what I have used myself and that are helping me to really navigate this time so that I can grow. And I think many of us want the same thing, especially in the times that we're at. So we're going to go in deep, and I'm going to end with 3 questions that you can meditate on, ask yourself, journal about, that I hope will help you navigate this time. So let's get into it then. March, just generally, is a transition season. It's one of those months where we're really moving from winter into spring, obviously. And this means energetically we're moving from a yin time to a yang time. So this means we're moving from an introspective, feminine energy, and I'm using that word to describe the energy rather than, it's not a gendered word. It's to denote that soft, introspective, gentle, inward energy. So we're moving from yin to yang, which is governed by the sun, that more solar, masculine, out there in the world type of energy. So we're moving from that, and spring, when it gets going, the yang energy begins to rise. It has to, right? So that the plants and animals can start, blooming, reproducing, growing, and all the rest of it. So we're moving from that, from the yin to the yang, from the introspective to the more out there in the world type of energy. And if you're extra sensitive to the world around you, like me, then you're going to be picking up on this shift more than most, and it can feel quite jarring. So that's a general idea of what's happening. And if we look through the Chinese element system, we're moving from water to wood. So winter is governed by the element of water, and this brings qualities of contemplation, of introspection, of containment, of quietness, of stillness, of rest, of feeling the need to contain and conserve our energy. There's also the element of flow and adaptability that comes with water, and that governs the winter time according to the Chinese system. And we're moving from water to wood in the Chinese system. And wood is, if you think about the energy of spring and the actual energy of wood, in order for wood to grow, there needs to be creativity, initiative, a sense of growth and expansion and energy and optimism. And so we're moving from one to the other. And sometimes when we're moving from one to the other, we can feel a little bit out of kilter. And so there's things that we can do to help keep our energies balanced as we move from one to the next. In the Ayurvedic system, so this is part of Indian philosophy, you may be familiar with the doshas. So these are qualities of energy. And in spring, the dosha that's on the rise is kapha, sometimes people call it Kepler. And this energy is one of coolness, of heaviness, of moistness. If you think of, it combines actually the elements of earth and water. If you think of, mud, basically a muddy puddle. The positive sides to this is that it brings with it stability, a sense of endurance, compassion, but it also can lead to feelings of congestion and stagnancy. And so taking all of that into consideration, the thing that can happen at this time with the energies within us is that we can feel a bit stuck. It can feel like we have a series of false starts. It can be a while to get going. If you're somebody that struggles with transition, then it can feel a while to get going, if you like you could do with a real boost, and you might feel a bit sluggish. And it really depends on your personal makeup. But generally speaking, if you're extra sensitive, we need extra time to transition through transitional periods. We also have, in the Celtic and pagan wheel of the year, we have Ostara, or also the spring equinox. That's on the 20th of the month, which, in our ancestors' times would have been a time to celebrate fertility and growth, and, really get behind that excitement of the growth and the sunnier times to come. So these are general energies that are at play every year. But of course, each year there is nuances, and each season is its own. It has its own signature. And this is where I look to astrology and look at what's happening in the cosmos, as well as what's happening down here on Earth. And we've obviously got a lot going on in the world at the moment. Human beings, we're shifting from one phase to a next. So we're at a real turning point. And if we looked at the astrology generally, we are in Pisces season till the spring equinox. And whether you're in the know with astrology or not, Pisces it's a water sign. It's very dreamy. It's very intuitive. It's the last sign of the zodiac that's connected to the divine realms, if you like. It's not a very grounded sign. It's almost boundaryless. And as well as this, we also have a lot of planets in Pisces at the moment, including Neptune and Saturn, some of the outer planets. And the outer planets anyway, don't change signs very often. And when they do, it can bring a shift in our energy. And both Neptune and Saturn are moving for a small period of time into Aries. Aries is the start of the zodiac, which again, we will move into generally. The sun will move into Aries after Pisces. So what all that means, whether you're in the know of astrology or not, is we're moving from an ending into a beginning. And it feels very much that that's what this year is about. There's a lot of closing off of things that's going to happen this year. And March in particular, I think, is going to be a real time for whatever needs to close for us personally, as well as collectively, is going to come to the fore. We also have eclipse season happening starting this month as well, on the 14th, I think it is. So eclipses generally will, if there are things that we have perhaps ignored or put to one side, just like a regular full moon will shine lights on things, it's a time when things will really be shown to you, and whatever it is that needs to close or evolve will likely be very close to the surface, and it could be a month of high emotion. So with that all in context, there's 3 questions that I think will be really helpful to really contemplate on over the next month, particularly as we navigate what I think is going to be quite emotional energies as we go through eclipse season. Okay, so the first question is, in which places in my life do I feel stuck? And what are the feelings I have around these areas of life? So in what places in my life do I feel stuck, and how do I feel about these areas? Okay, so the second thing that I'm going to suggest you ask, and that first question was kind of two, is contemplating the question, what myths about myself contribute to this feeling of stuckness? And that is a big question. So, what myths about myself contribute to this feeling of stuckness? And then finally, with full honesty and compassion for yourself, consider now what words, actions, and thoughts you can take which will help to release that stagnancy in whatever area of life. So, asking yourself the question with full honesty and compassion for yourself, because this is hard stuff. What words, thoughts, actions can you take or begin to take that are going to help to release that stagnancy? And these questions are really aimed at one thing, one sole purpose, which is the whole reason I do my work really, is so that you and me and everybody else can be our most authentic self possible, so that we can remove our masks and just be ourselves without the people pleasing, without filtering ourselves, still being kind to each other, of course, but not muting ourselves or dulling ourselves. So I hope that was useful. Let me know what you think, because I've shared some stuff today that I don't normally share, that I feel really passionately about. Let me know what you discover or your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care.